The night I was left alone at home. Imagine this, a small boy, only 11 years old, left alone at home. It's nighttime. The story I'm about to tell you really happened. And if you imagine yourself as that little boy, I'm sure you'll feel the deepest kind of fear. But beyond the fear and the tension, this story also carries an important message. A message you'll understand by the end of it. So make sure you share it with others, because people need to see what can happen when a young child is left alone at night. My name is Nasri, and my channel is also called Nasri. All I need from you is to hit that subscribe button. Now, let's begin the story. Bismillah. My name is Kaudi, and back then, I was just 11 years old. The story I'm about to tell you happened to me in 1990. I've tried many times to erase it from my memory, but some stories never fade. And maybe if you hear it, you'll be more careful than I was. Because what happened to me could happen to someone else, even worse. It all began on the night I almost lost my closest friend. My mother was a single mom. You all know how hard that life is. She worked at the hospital, night shifts only. She'd leave at 7 p.m. and return at 7 a.m. She always told me, since you're grown up now, you can stay home alone. And that's how it was. Until that night. Before leaving, she'd always say, your dinner is in the kitchen. Eat before 10 p.m. Turn off the lights. Go to bed. And don't open the door for anyone. If you go out, make sure you lock the door. That was the rule. Every night around 9 or 10, she'd call to check that I had eaten and gone to bed. If I didn't pick up, I'd be in trouble. That was my routine. Normal life, same pattern, nothing scary. I used to play a few games before sleeping, and I was never really afraid. Until one day, my friend Naja, the boy who lived nearby, asked me, can I sleep over at your place tonight? He was my best friend, and his parents were away in the village. So I said, of course, why not? You can stay. I even told my mom about it. She smiled and said, one person or two, it's all the same. That evening, she went off to work, reminding me again, lock the door. Don't go outside. It's night. Anything can happen. Dinner's ready. Eat before 10. We both followed her rules. Well, not all of them. We ate dinner. Check. We stayed inside. Check. But sleep by 10 p.m.? We didn't. Lock the door? We forgot. When my mom left, we decided to play a game. Super Mario. It was new and exciting back then. We didn't have a big TV, just a small old one, and simple controllers. But we loved it. We were so focused, so caught up in the fun, that we forgot everything else. Even the unlocked door. If I had known what was about to happen, I would never have touched that game again. Each time I thought, I should lock the door, I'd say, just one more round. And then I'd forget again. My friend was the same, even worse than me. He didn't care about the door at all. So we kept playing, lowering the TV volume, just in case my mom came home early. Sometimes, my mother came home early. And that night, I was afraid she might. The clock showed 11:30 p.m. My friend and I were still playing, laughing, relaxed, until suddenly, we heard the front door open. My stomach twisted in fear. It was a kind of terror I had never felt before. At first, I thought, maybe it's Mom. Quickly, I turned off the TV, and we both pretended to be asleep. We softly closed our bedroom door. But then, we heard footsteps. Someone or something was moving inside the house. I know the way my mother walks. I know the sound of her keys, the rhythm of her shoes. But this was different. This was not my mother. Our bedroom door was open. Only one small light was on. Half the room was dim, half was dark. We could see shadows moving. Someone was walking around the house, entering one room after another. Then, the sound of slow, careful footsteps came up the stairs. Our stairs. My friend and I were shaking. Sweat ran down our faces. Every step grew louder, closer, until the man stood right in front of our room. He looked around 30 years old, with a thick black beard, wearing a dark shirt. One of his eyes looked a little strange, slightly yellow, like stickly gold. We froze. We didn't move. We didn't breathe. We pretended to be asleep. I thought, maybe he's just a thief. Maybe he'll take the TV and leave. I didn't care about the things in the house. I just wanted to stay alive. He entered our room. For about 5 long minutes, he stood there, looking around, silent. Then, his eyes fell on my friend Naja, who was sleeping on the floor beside the bed. Naja quickly wrapped himself in a blanket, pretending to be deeply asleep. The man walked over, bent down, and touched the blanket. He even tried to lift my friend up, as if planning to carry him away. But then, for some reason, he changed his mind. He gently laid him back down, and stepped away. At that moment, my heart screamed, "Shout! Scream now!" But another voice in my head said, "If you scream, that will be the last sound you ever make." My friend's face was pale with fear, his body trembling. Finally, the man turned and slowly walked out of our room. We heard his steps move toward my mother's room. He went in, then into the bathroom, then silence. And after a few moments, we heard the same front door close. Softly, quietly, he was gone. We stayed frozen for 5, maybe 10 minutes. Neither of us spoke. Then in a whisper, my friend said, "Maybe he left." We stood up slowly, checked every corner of the house, and realized, yes, he was truly gone. I grabbed the phone and called my mother immediately. I told her everything. She told me, "Call the police right now." Within 10 minutes, the police arrived. A few minutes later, my mother came, too. The officers asked us to describe him, what he looked like, what he wore. We told them. About 35 years old, black beard, dark shirt, and one yellowish eye. My mother was furious. She kept saying, "Why didn't you lock the door? Didn't I warn you again and again?" I felt so guilty. A few minutes later, Naja's parents arrived too. When they heard what happened, they were terrified. After that night, they never allowed Naja to sleep over again. The next day, my mother didn't go to work. Later, the police called. They told us they had caught the man. They said that when he broke into our house, he had stolen some of my mother's gold and a few small things. Then, just 4 kilometers away, he broke into another home. The police found him there, and when they compared his description to the one we gave, it matched perfectly. It was the same man. They recovered our stolen things, and that's how we survived that night. Now, I'm grown up, but that night never left my mind. Whether I'm young or old, I'll never forget it, because that was the night I almost lost my best friend. Even today, we're still friends, but we never talk about that night. It's something we both keep buried, and that's why I wanted to share this story with you, because it's not just a scary story. It's a warning. Parents should never leave their children alone at night. No matter how safe you think your neighborhood is, you never know who might walk through your door. So please, always make sure someone grown up is home. Otherwise, the next time you see your children, it might be too late. That was my story for today. If you made it this far, join my channel. You're not just my audience. You're my real supporters.